It's hard to talk about any characters as being a typical hero. The only thing I can say is that when I get involved in the book, and particularly when I'm writing in the first person, I move into that persona. So I don't know whether there's a resemblance between Johnny One-Eye and some of the other characters. I think one would like to be, as you grow older, bolder and bolder. And I think to some degree, even though I think that Johnny One-Eye was my boldest novel because I did things there that I probably wouldn't have dared to do, you know, in an earlier time. But it would be hard for me to say Johnny is an orphan, and I sort of see myself very often as an orphan, or as a child seeking a father, you know, where the mother, even though the mother is ambiguous, her love isn't ambiguous. She may wrestle with him, she may, you know, battle with him, but it doesn't seem to matter, and yet he's a boy who has to find his own father, which in a way has always been my quest, you know. I can't, because your life enters your work in such a strange way that, you know, the book becomes a kind of dream, you know, and then really once you get the first sentence, you enter into the dream of the text. I don't think you have to work at them. You have to like them. If you like them, then they speak their own voice. And if you don't like them, then, you know, it's very strange. If you fall in love with a character, you endow that character with their own music, and all the women in the novel are very different, and yet they all react to Johnny in a very similar way to some extent. They hate him and love him, you know. Well, I don't know why, but I always felt close to the American Revolution. I never felt close to the Civil War. It seemed like a kind of fratricide. I felt close to World War II, but not at all to World War I. I mean, these are the two wars that have sort of obsessed me. And the revolution, the notion of a new country being born, or a child growing up in an immigrant world, seeing this new country held a kind of fascination. So when I examined these characters, whether they were Hamilton or the Howe brothers, I didn't want to see them as historical figures speaking historical terms. I mean, they all gravitate around this whorehouse, and that was the center of New York City, which makes sense to me. This is where people would go. I mean, where else would they go? Where else would the spies, you know, play poker or whatever it was? So this became a world within a world, you know, the Queen's Yard.